Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. Today's session is going to be on how to help as a friend, how to help your friend whose husband is going into a dementia unit. Now there's so much that you can do to help. Now, let's say your friend is named Anne and her husband is named Jim, and they have, Anne has decided on the dementia facility that Jim is to go into, but they haven't got room yet, often the case, a waiting list. And Jim goes into daycare maybe twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So as a diligent, conscientious friend, what you can do is take the time to either read the book and all the techniques in there to help for relatives for when their loved one goes into a dementia unit, and or listen to these videos and take notes on that. If, say, you're a very conscientious person and you like to research things, say you have read the book and you've also looked at the videos, fantastic, because there's a lot of information in there to get to know. And say, you've taken some notes and you're keen to be able to help your friend to be able to gear her for when the event happens. So typically the person who has been looking after a husband with dementia, maybe for 8-10 years, and if they are in their mid-70s, 80s, even early mid-80s, by the time it comes to their husband going into a dementia unit, often they are totally exhausted, shattered, especially if they haven't got a lot of family support. Say if the children are overseas, or maybe they didn't have children, maybe their siblings have died, and they haven't got the support and you're the sole friend pretty much. There really is a lot to do and negotiate. So the best thing is for you to prepare with this and to sit down with your friend and take her through it one step at a time. Because, if you've been married for 50 years, it's so stressful, your partner going into a dementia facility. Guilt is a really big thing. People often feel guilty that they haven't been able to manage and cope and help to be able to keep that person at home. And of course the person often wants to stay at home, but it's become unmanageable. So there's lots of emotional issues to go through. But really the best thing in terms of preparation for going into the unit, the best thing is to put your prime energy into the practicalities of what needs to happen, because that will, if everything's practically in place and you have an understanding of what's coming up, and you're upskilled on that, that will emotionally consolidate things, and you'll be a lot more balanced and clear-headed if you're prepared. So with your friend, if you sit down and just say, look, Anne, I've been reading this book and I've been looking at these videos online, and I really think there's a lot that we can do to prepare for when Jim goes into the unit. And I think it is a good idea to start now, because we've got 6 weeks, but it's actually not a lot of time to be able to go through everything. So the first thing to start with is the room, getting everything sorted for the room. Now, typically in a dementia unit, there's one standard single bed, maybe a upright, uncomfortable chair, maybe a medical trolley on wheels that goes about for morning and afternoon teas. Often that's it, stark. So to make it comfortable, that really needs to be thought through. So probably the best thing is to just make the little list and then discuss that with your friend Anne, and then quietly go around the house and, put a sticker or a note on things that would be best to take to the unit on the big day when Jim goes to the unit. The more prepared you are, the less stressful it will be, the less emotional you will be. So to get the most comfortable chair for him that he likes sitting in, that he can get in and out of easily, to get suitable bedding for a single bed. So if there's a good single duvet, mohair rug, comfortable pillow at the home, good. Otherwise, to purchase these in advance, and maybe you can go with your friend to select those with colours that, you know, are nice for the room and brighten it up a bit. And then chest of drawers. Yeah, that will be needed because there's so little space in the wardrobe generally. Big pictures. So the favourite pictures of Jim that Jim likes. Maybe it's of Rover the dog. He had a favourite dog, Rover. Lovely, big, beautiful photo of the dog. Maybe of the farm, the family farm. That's always a real favourite. One or two others, just so that they're nicely placed. Stickers on those. A full-length mirror is important. If there's not one at home, or that you can't spare the one at home, to also get that when you go out to get your bedding and duvet. Heating, yes. A good heater that easily rolls around on wheels, you know, so it can be placed in different positions. A bedside table. So you might need to buy that heater too, if there's not a spare one in the house. So this is like quite a shopping list building up, isn't it? You know, it's a day's work. Duvet, heater, maybe a pillow, maybe a mirror. Okay, so you've got all this sorted out, what's in the house. Then you've worked out what you haven't got on the list, and you make a shopping day for that to go and get that when Jim's off to the, you know, daycare facility. You know, because Jim doesn't know he's going into the facility yet, so it has to be done quietly to prepare all of these things. So with the day itself, oh yes, because you don't, usually what happens is there's a waiting list, you know, and you don't know when the day is going to be that the person can go in, and often you're given only 24 hours, or, you know, to move in, maybe 2 days, but it's not much. So that's why it's good to have everything ready and have a family member or a friend with a trailer who's ready to come at short notice to take you. And once that's all set up, that's a lot of stress out of the way for your friend. There's other things, of course, once the person gets into the unit that you need to work out, but at least if you've got the gear that needs to go to the room all sorted, that's a good start, because, you know, it's best to all go in at once, because it's very difficult often to, you know, get another trailer and then another friend or another person to help take in more stuff. Everyone's keen on the first day, generally. They have enthusiasm to help and interest to help, but after that it can, you know, wane out. So take advantage of that first moving in day and all the big stuff all together at the same time. And put stickers on the pictures where you'd like the maintenance men to nail them up in the room, and they'll do that. So, or if you've got a husband, if you've got a family member that's happy to go and nail it up in the room, all the better, with hooks and things. So the more you can prepare, the better, because otherwise it can be very stark and, you know, prison-like for the person if they've got none of their comfortable home, you know, comforts in the room, which often happens. The person just gets bundled in, everyone's in a rush, and they think, oh, well, that'll be fine for mum, you know, she won't know, she won't remember, she won't mind. It's not like that at all. It really needs a lot of care and thought. It needs to be going into a comfortable room, you know, with all the facilities and the bookcase, the magazines and newspapers, and, you know, hopefully a room that you've got that has a lovely view for them to look out on a garden if they like garden, and hopefully north facing with the sun, and all these things need to be considered so it can be comfortable and cozy for the person in the unit. So that's the end of the session today. But if you have a friend, you know, who's going through a similar thing, or family member, you know, that's, or you being the family member, passing this information, this video on to other siblings, relatives, friends, it's a great help for people to be able to prepare going into this situation, this emotional situation where so much has to be done and so much needs to be organised in advance, so much needs to be prepared for, so that if the people can either read the book or watch the videos, or you can give them the information and the updates, the essential updates. That will be a great service. Thank you.